Hey, what's going on? Nick Unsworth here with lifeonfire.com, and I'm fired up to have you here today because I'm going to be breaking down one of the reasons and one of the steps that I took to go from $50,000 in debt to selling a business within 2 years. And so what ended up happening was I was just at my wit's end. Everything I touched in business at this point in my life, I kept failing over and over and over and over again. And then finally, it was like an infomercial. It was the middle of the night. I watched this 90-minute video from Evan Pagan about a mastermind. I found a way. I got a friend to borrow money from. I credit carded it, got to the mastermind. Long story short, the mastermind changed my entire life and my trajectory. And so what I'm going to be doing in this session here today is to break down how you too can either participate in the mastermind, how you can start your own mastermind, whether it's free just with your peers, or you can actually create a mastermind and make that part of your business. So masterminds are incredible. I'm going to break down how you can run a successful mastermind yourself. So stay tuned.
Hey, what's going on? Nick Unsworth here, and I'm a kick-ass business coach, and I'm on an absolute mission to help you find your purpose in life, to help you love what you do for work every single day, to help you be the rock star that you are meant to be, to make more money than you ever thought was possible, and to have more time freedom so you can actually enjoy the life that you're living. I'm here to help you set your life on fire.
All right, so to pick up where I left off in the story was, I was so flat broke, got to this mastermind with Evan Pagan, and in that room, that's where I met my first 5-figure client, my first 6-figure client as a Facebook marketing expert, and that same guy, Scott from Wisconsin, bought my business. So why do you want to be in a mastermind, or why do you want to start your own mastermind? It's because of the contacts. It's because of the connections in the room. So that's one very important piece, but the second important piece is all of the ideas that come out of that mastermind group. Because when you're around people that are smarter than you and you have that energy, there's something that happens. Because when you're in your own head as an entrepreneur, what I found personally and with all of our clients is that it's very hard to think of your next step. What I hear the most is, how can I help you today? And it's like, man, if I just had the clarity, if I just had a plan, if I just knew what to do next. So Mastermind can help you create that clarity and a plan and get into action. So basically, to break this down, I want you to think that this is something that you can set up amongst your peers, and it's something that you can do once a month. I have a group here in San Diego with John Assaraf, with Mike Koenigs, Mike Phil-Same, Eric Berman, lots of just fantastic entrepreneurs. And we just do it once a month. We do it at a restaurant that's quiet in a back room, and I'm going to share the format that we use. And we're not paying for this. This is just a peer mastermind group, and the breakthrough and the ideas and the help that comes out of that for our businesses is incredible. We're all growing like crazy, and that's one of the reasons. Now, another thing that you can do as far as the mastermind goes is you can actually create a mastermind and make this part of your business. So with us, with Life on Fire, my life has been so impacted by masterminds, so we run our own. So we have a coaching program, we have one called Firestarter Pro and Firestarter Elite, and we actually bring our clients together 4 times per year, and we create an absolutely amazing environment and create a lot of breakthrough in the room. We network, create a lot of business in the room, and it's so powerful and rewarding. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down how you too can create that model and plug into it and grow your business to new heights. So I've got a handful of steps here, and I'm just going to go one by one. And the very first step is to identify your purpose with the mastermind. So you've got to figure, in a mastermind, in a group setting, let's say you've got anywhere from 20 to 30, maybe 40 people. We've done it as many as 50 people. You've got to understand, what is the main outcome that you're trying to get to? Is it, maybe for me as a business coach, we've done it before where my goal is to hot seat every single person and create these mini transformations and breakthroughs around the room. Or is it about the networking, where you can have exercises to pass referrals and business to each other? You can have a hybrid of the both, but you want to get very clear as exactly what is the outcome that you want for the mastermind. Here today, I'm going to be breaking down how to create referrals in the room. So, in the mastermind footage that we have for you here today, we actually have hundreds of thousands of dollars of referrals that got passed in the room. Now, it doesn't mean it's all going to close right away, but some of these relationships will lead to many, many, many dollars made. So the goal for our mastermind was to literally get clear on what each other does, and then literally pass referrals in the room to help each other make money in the room. So number one is you want to get clear on your purpose of your mastermind. All right, so the number 2 step with creating a successful mastermind is you want to make sure that you have the right people in the room. In our case, we call it the for-purpose business movement. So we have entrepreneurs, experts, speakers, authors, service professionals, people that are truly on the same page in business. And what happens when you've got the right room of people, the networking is better, the referrals are better. So you want to make sure that you don't have people from all different walks of life. You don't want to have folks with jobs intermingled with folks that, are screenwriters or actors mixed with people that are entrepreneurs. I mean, that can serve a purpose if you want to get outside your industry perspectives. But what I found to be the most successful is find your like-minded ideal crowd that has the most synergy together. So for example, if you're a realtor, you want to have a mastermind with a mortgage broker, with a home inspector, an attorney, an appraiser, because they're all in the same space and you can refer business. So in our case, anyone that's an entrepreneur that really feels like they've got a calling and a gift and wants to get their message out to the world, that's our crowd, that's our audience. And our clients, we create a really close-knit bond by getting the right people in the room. And the third step is to set the date. As soon as you set your date, everything becomes real. And also, if I start to sweat in here, it's because we're having a heat wave in San Diego, and it's gotta be like 100 degrees in here. I'm in my little studio. But for number 3, you wanna make sure that you set the date. And so all that means is pick a date. I would recommend at least 90 days out, if not 120 days. Set the date. And that's going to make this thing real. Once you set your date, then you're going to move on to the next step, which is getting the hotel. So with getting your hotel, it really should be getting your venue, because you can do this in your home. You can do this at a restaurant if it's a small group. If you have, let's say, over 20 people, you may want to look at going to an actual hotel. If you've got people flying in, for sure, hotel's going to be the easiest. We've actually rented a mansion in Arizona before, and we had 40 people sleeping at the mansion. So that's a great way to go as well. But if you do have maybe a bigger group and you're going to go the hotel route, there's a couple things you want to keep in mind. That with the hotel, you want to make sure that you have a big enough space to have a circle, because there's nothing worse than having a mastermind if you have classroom style seating. So you want to make sure you have a circle or a square and a big enough space to do that. You want to make sure also that you have negotiated with the hotel the room block, because you want to make sure that you block enough rooms for anyone that's flying in out of town, get the lowest rate you possibly can, but you have to be very, very careful not to have liability where if you don't fill the room block, you're responsible for the rooms. So negotiating those contracts, it's often great to have an event planning company. We've invested heavily in our event planning company, but you've got to figure that is an area where you can really be at a lot of risk. And so you want to make sure you really go into detail on that contract and hedge your liability with the hotel so that you basically don't get screwed. All right, so step number 5, now I want you to assume that you're in the middle of the mastermind, that you've had your folks either fly in, come together, and if you're doing it over a course of a couple days, in this case, what I'm going to be sharing with you is our 3-day mastermind. We do 2 days of just work, fun, networking, then the 3rd day is complete adventure and something awesome. So in the very beginning, when everyone shows up, you want to make sure you've got name tags, you've got your registration, make sure that that's a smooth process. They come there in the morning. I encourage you to start early, start at 9 in the morning, get the your work done. But when everyone gets there, you figure you've got to set the stage. You want to have your icebreaker. So what can you do that's going to just let some of the pressure, some of the anxiety out of the room? Because the goal is to network everyone together. You want people to be building relationships and wanting to talk to each other and going up and just, getting to know each other, having fun. And that's where the business starts to happen. When you have the right room together, high-level individuals that all have synergy together, that's where you're going to get a lot of the business being passed. So the icebreaker that we're going to show you a bit of a clip of is something where you go around the room, and we did 90 seconds per person. And what's key about this is you have to have a timer and you have to stay pretty darn close to it. So we were going around the room and we're asking who you are, who do you help, and then how do you help them? And what that does is it lets everyone know exactly who the person is, right? And so what's cool about that is we got to know everyone around the room, made sure everyone that knew who each other was, people were taking notes. But then the next piece to that was we said, to share your most embarrassing moment and or something that most people don't know about you. So what happens is when, as you'll see in this clip, as we're going around the room, it just lets the pressure out of the room. People were having fun. We were encouraged, clapping for people to, share their most embarrassing moments. And so what you're about to see is a little behind the scenes footage of our icebreaker moment at our mastermind, sharing some embarrassing moments. And I don't know if we're going to share mine or not. It's going to be up to my video guy, but I have an embarrassing moment that I think is probably impossible to beat. I would challenge anyone out there. And I think many people that know my most embarrassing moment would agree that it's probably the most impossible to beat. But if you can beat it, you're going to have to come back to lifeonfire.com/153, share your embarrassing moment. But let's roll the tape and just share with you guys what our icebreaker moment was like.
So what we're going to do to start things off is what's really key is for everyone to just have an idea of what everyone does. So we've got a lot of you here. What's awesome is a lot of you have met at Ignite or what have you. But we're going to go around the room and we're going to just do 4 things. And I want you to just jot these down so everyone's got them. We're going to have you share, and Donna put this in a couple emails. But the first one is just who you are, and that might just be your title. My name's Nick. I'm a business coach. And then it's number 2 is who do you help? So I help entrepreneurs that want to build an online brand, authors, speakers, coaches, people that want to create, their expert business online. And then number 3 is how do you help them? I help them with coaching, with masterminds, online marketing, and those are the products and services that we do. And then number 4 is, this will be your choice. It's either what's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you, or it's what's one thing that most people don't know about you. Just a random factoid. Like some things that's been really fun on these VIP days. It's like VIP day with PJ, the guy's what degree? 10th degree black belt. That's something what a cool conversation starter, for you guys to hang and know that. It's like JT, world championship Ironman competitor. Got to Worlds, twice? We had, where's Vetri? Guy was in the Special Forces. It's just like, you sleeper, man. I wasn't expecting that. He's like doing Black Ops missions and things, and I was like, okay, wow, all right. But, so if there's anything goes down here, you just look to Vetri, he'll take care of it, along with Simon. Simon, for sure. But that to me is just one of these things where it just shifts the dynamic of things and allows you to get to know people at a different level. And so we also did this at a mastermind with Chris Ducker, and so he was doing this whole thing about what's your most embarrassing thing, and people were cracking up, sharing things, and I don't know what got into me, but I decided to share something that is truly the most embarrassing thing. And if anyone can top this, I challenge you. This will definitely can't be in any recap video. This is going to come out at the wedding. I don't know how many times my brother's going to put this in the best man speech. But it's I don't know why I'm sharing this, but I'm going to just share the most embarrassing thing, and then anyone else wants to follow suit as an icebreaker. But at this tropical think tank event where I was speaking, and we ended up bringing Gary Griffiths became a client from that event and things like that. But I was like, you know how I am. I just kind of lay it all out there, just share exactly what's on my mind, and I don't really have a filter. Filterless, but in a good way. I'm never rarely mean or anything, but it's like, so I just all of a sudden it was like I think I had a couple of drinks in me, and I just shared this in the Facebook group, and people went bonkers. They could not believe that it was true. But it was pretty funny when I shared it on the stage. So my most embarrassing moment is when I was a sophomore in high school. I played football. We had this program where we could get out of school, and we went and hang out at my friend's house before practice. And I had to go to the bathroom and do a number 2. And it was in the winter, and I had boots on and things. And I was like, man, it's so annoying, having to go to the bathroom. I was like, having to take your boots off. And because I had like boots with tons of laces and everything, the ones with the hooks on the sides. And a couple of my friends look at me like I'm insane. They're like, dude, why do you need to take your boots off? And I go, well, what am I going to do? Am I going to sit with my feet in the air? Is that what I should do? And they're like, dude, what are you talking about? They're like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, well, put your pants down. How am I going to, where are my feet going to go? Because your pants are around your ankles, right? The only place would be above the, like, and they're like, what are you talking about? They're like, wait a second. Do you sit the wrong way on the toilet? So until I was about 15, I was sitting the wrong way on the toilet. So I was facing this way, hugging it. And I didn't know that was wrong until that very moment. And they were like, their minds just exploded. And they're like, you've been doing this wrong until you're 15? And I was so like, imagine just the most embarrassing moment of your life where I was just like, yeah, so, and I got the drift that not everyone did that. And it was just like, I was just like, so you guys go the other way? Yeah, we go the other way. You've never seen the feet under the stalls? I'm like, I'm not looking in the stalls, you know? So that's the most embarrassing moment of my life. If you can top that, you're going to get an award. So.
Hi, I'm Dr. Matt Kreinheder. I work with two groups of people. One is people who have cancer, and I help them with the emotional, mental, spiritual side of things so that their body can heal. And if they're close to me, I'll actually do hands-on work as well. And then I also work with influencers. So the type of chiropractic that I learned is the same type of chiropractic that Tony Robbins gets. He actually has a chiropractor fly with him to all his events and gets work done right before he goes on stage. So that's the type of work that I do. So I also work with influencers, get them ready to hit the stage, and also work with them so they can kind of get their physical nervous system and their emotions clear so that they can perform at really high levels. And an embarrassing thing. So I was recently, last month, at a program in Italy with my mentor and a bunch of people who do the type of work that I do, and we're doing this exercise where it's deep breathing, you go down, you touch the floor, you come up, and I hadn't slept on the flight. So I was up like 40 hours straight. So we're doing this intense exercise. I go down, I touch the floor, I fall backwards, and I crush a 700-year-old pot with my head. So that was blood everywhere, massive embarrassment. So that was a good time.
All right, so that's pretty crazy, right? So the icebreaker moment is awesome. We also did another icebreaker, which was just paper, rocks, scissors. So I think everyone would relate to that. You know, that's just, there's a nostalgia behind it. We all did it when we were little kids. And what was fun about this is turning into one of our mastermind traditions is we have a champion for each mastermind. So what you do is you go around the room and it's one-on-one and it's paper, rock, scissors. And what happens is whoever beats the person, so if I beat you, you then come and follow me. If I then beat, Larry, then Larry and you come follow me. And then we keep going around until you end up with just two masses of people behind, because everyone just keeps following whoever is the winner. And then by the end of it, you end up with two people. It's a big showdown. We had a little prize for the winner for this. And what's cool is that this is, again, just another big icebreaker moment, because your goal at the mastermind is to get people talking, get them interacting, get people passing business. And so what you're about to see now is just the showdown, the big paper, rock, scissors showdown. All right, so as you can see at the Life on Fire Masterminds, we don't mess around at all. So number 6 is, all right, getting down to business. This is the format of the actual mastermind. And so what we did was, because we had a big group, we had about 50 people, which would be the max for something like this. You start going over 50, it just gets to be too fast per person. So what I found to be very impactful is actually doing hot seats around the room. So for me as a business coach, I like to be able to have laser coaching with people and be able to help people create accountability. So what happens on the format in this case is we did about 10 minutes per person. And again, we use the timer. And then in the 10 minutes, we had a couple very specific questions. It was, who is your ideal customer? Because if we could identify who your ideal customer is, then I will know how to refer business to you. And again, 49 other people in the room will know how to refer business to you. Then we also asked, who is your ideal referral partner? And we explain all of what that means, but it's like, I could not only refer a customer to you, but I could refer someone to you that could refer customers to you. So for example, if I was a realtor and I wanted to sell more homes, I could go out and say, hey, my ideal customer is someone that's looking to sell their home. Well, that'd be, getting a referral for a customer. But I could also ask for, well, I'm looking to network with a local attorney that comes across home buyers looking to sell their house. Maybe it's because of a divorce, maybe it's because of bankruptcy, all these different scenarios. Attorneys come across deals. So if I were to get clear to that to the room, then what if I get referred 3 attorneys that come across lots of real estate transactions? So basically we get clear on, who's a good referral as a customer, who's a good referral as what we call a center of influence, and then how we can help you. And so what happens is we went around the room and we were actually passing these little referral slips where people were just handing them over to each other. And what happened is we literally generated over 6 figures of dollars passed in that room. We had people doing business with each other. We also have relationships that are going to lead to big things. So the goal was we wanted to prove that we could generate money right there in the room. Why do you come to a Life on Fire mastermind? It's like, well, the connections and this and that. It's not, what it's who you know, but it's also about literally, tangibly making money right then and there. So we're going to show you a little bit of a clip of what that was like. And you'll also notice that we have some scenarios where in the 10-minute hot seat, we also encourage you to share your goals. Well, we started this little chant, which is we have some folks that got really clear on what they want and their businesses are going really well working with us and they are on the verge of leaving their business. So when you're, leaving their job. So when you're in this environment, we've had a couple folks that committed to the group when their last day at their job would be. So have a look at the hot seat format and also a couple folks that were pretty excited and stoked about leaving their job.
All right, so where am I starting?
All right, let's start with ideal customer who's perfect for you, and then who's a good center of influence.
Okay, so ideal customer. Does anyone here want to convert more sales? Anyone raise your hand? Well, there you go. There's the ideal customer. No, I think
we could all use your help. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? So I've been challenged with this a little bit because I look at it as the ideal customer being entrepreneurs, anyone with leads. I think they have to have some leads. They're a commission-based sales professional, which I've dealt a lot with, an individual sales rep, people with sales teams, because that's really where I spent most of my time. So the last 24 years, I've spent my career in corporate America raising sales teams and doing close to $1 billion in sales with those teams, people I've personally trained, hired, and coached. So what I'm looking at is I try to narrow that market, through these last 2 webinars to sales coaches and sales, people that are experts that have a product. For me, they have to have a product that's at least $1,000 a month, because I know if they have a $1,000 a month product, I can show them how to convert that into more sales because of my price point.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm finding I'm talking to people that undervalue what they're selling. So that's another, I've immediately had a conversation with someone, I think she was doing social media marketing, spent some time with her, and it was immediately off the value call, and we saw her spending time, an hour off the call, immediately doubled her sales just in that hour off the call because she was undervaluing what she was offering.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do anything else but just tell her the reasons why she was undervaluing what she had to offer. So it was great.
So do you prefer, I know that you just landed a 30K client, which
Correct.
is awesome. Congrats.
Thank you.
30K contract in the house, first time webinar and ads scenario. Just sweet. So tell us about that particular client. And then, because I think that if we get really clear on what a corporate one looks like, and then let's get really clear on, basically I feel like for you, it's anyone that's doing strategy sessions. So I'd love to have, if you're down, at some point I'd love to have you teach more after you do more and more. It's like, I feel like you could do a bomb training for us, which would be really cool.
Absolutely.
But like, I feel that there's a market for you of people that are doing enrollment calls that are in industries kind of like what we are doing. People that are coaches, that are, whether it's life coaches or business coaches, that, we're all leveraging the phone to make sales, and if we convert better, we're going to make more money. But outside of that, I think the other target market is, describe a little bit about what that corporate deal looks like so we can think of people that might fit in that box.
That's a great question. All right, so the corporate deal that landed was a woman by the name of Rhonda Breton. So Rhonda was, she's a best-selling author. She has 4 or 5 books on Amazon. She was on Oprah. She hasn't been doing things for many years now. And so she has an organization that does certified coaching training.
Oh, okay.
And so she has a product that she's selling. So she's selling a coaching product for people to be certified in coaching. And she charges right now $12,000 for that product. And so people are paying her a $2,000 deposit and $1,000 a month, or they're paying $11,000 up front. And they weren't converting as many sales as they could. So I immediately had a call with her director of sales. We did a lot of role playing. That was my value bomb. I say 30 minutes on my webinar. They all ended up being an hour, hour and a half, because I told them, I'm not getting off the phone until you find value. And by the time they find value and they're all excited, it says, do I have your permission to tell you what I do? And they said, absolutely. And then that's where the wheels come off. But she now wants me to train her team.
Yeah.
And so when she wanted a custom program for her, that she wanted me to train her 2 salespeople and herself to convert the sales. Because they have a little over 1,200 leads. To me, when I looked at it and how they got their leads, she has a minimum of at least 120 to 200 sales that she can have.
Well, and the other thing is they've already conducted 300 calls that they haven't converted. So they've been on the phone.
They're just not doing it
converted.
well. So to me, a big aspect of this is that woman is a coach, and she's certifying other coaches. So to me, the biggest synergy, and even though you've gotten some other like corporate kind of clients, I think that just because of your background is who you've attracted. I think what's awesome for you as your target market is really people that are coaches. So it's almost like you think of Becky and Jesse, like we had some time to spend together where I was helping on, overlooking your calls and things like that. And it's like the same, that was really good to have, that we had phone sales training and we did that together so that you could get more conversions. But it may not be the level that, I certainly haven't sold nearly as much as you have. But what's cool is that as far as coaching goes, that the biggest need is to learn how to sell. And that's what makes the business strong. So for everyone to think about who is someone that is a coach, and if you had your head on a swivel for successful coaches, that if it's themselves making the calls, they could just convert better. But there's always going to be the coaches that get to another level that eventually build out a sales team. And typically speaking, the biggest thorn in the side of the coach that's growing is the sales team. So a guy, think of like, we've got a bunch of leads. We don't even have a sales infrastructure yet. Now we're working on it. That's part of what, Michael's helping us do. But it doesn't even exist yet. And that's one of the biggest, so the woman, what was her name? Rhonda. It's the challenge at that point is she's grown a successful business, but she hasn't created the leverage of having a successful sales team. That's just not her core competency. It's similar to like someone like us, even like someone like Suzanne Evans, Shanda Sumter, people that are, I would say, successful coaches that are trying to create the scale and leverage, where you could send Ben in, he does like a 90-minute lead magnet session, adds so much value, and then what happens is, even if you cost 30 grand, you could create multiple 6 figures, even 7 figures of results in probably 60, 90, 120 days.
Yeah.
Because if someone is already doing the calls and then you just help them be 4 or 5 times better, massive improvement. So just think that, I think the coaching space, even if you're a coach for whether it's coaching entrepreneurs. We're coaching really whoever you're coaching, you need to convert better. So I think that thinking of a coach, that to me is like the most direct. And what I love is if you get in, like for something like us working together, we can share Ben with other people, and he could have a product one day that could serve fire starters, or we could do something together to help our own folks. So it's like a coach that has a network is, to me, the best of the best for you.
So let's talk about that.
He's going to close me right here.
I would love to extend a challenge. So somebody here has a job that she's not super excited about. Yeah. 60, can we get a 60 days, 60 days, 60 days, 60 days, 60 days, 60 days. We're going to have Eric walk over here just to really put the pressure on with a video camera that just shows the proof of your commitment. And we might make you watch every day.
Oh no. 59. Yeah, 60 days. Let's do 60 days.
Share what's going to happen in 60 days.
I will be quitting my job in 60 days. That's going to feel really good.
All right, so in step number 7, this is about your meals. So you want to make sure at the mastermind you've got food that is just gluten-free. You don't want to have carbs. You want people to be interactive. So, keep it like salads, just lean meats, things like that, because trust me, if you hit 3 o'clock and people are eating pasta, they're going to be toast. They're not going to be participating. So keep the food super clean, and then make sure that you're providing that on site so people don't have to leave and come back. And then the other big thing as far as meals goes is your dinners. Your dinners is the best time where you as the mastermind host, you reach out to your network, you invite other awesome, amazing entrepreneurs that will add value to your group. Your dinners is where people are breaking bread, they're building relationships, building bonds. So we always set up just fantastic dinners that are either at the the restaurant, hotel, or close nearby. So that is super key, is just making sure that your meals are excellent. That's where a lot of the networking happens, and that's where a lot of the relationships get built. When people have a couple of drinks, they loosen up a little bit, and next thing you know, they're passing business back and forth. All right, so in step number 8, here's the thing is, step number 8 is all about just weaving in fun and adventure into your mastermind, because there's no better way to just build bonds with everyone in the group, and that just opens people up and start passing business, is when people are just doing unique experiences together. So you're gonna see a couple clips of things that we've done with our Life on Fire masterminds. We've done everything from, flying trapeze, all the way to jet packing, and on this most recent mastermind we rented a double-decker yacht, and we're going to end with just sharing some awesome clips from this. And we invited all kinds of amazing entrepreneurs, because again, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And what we do every single time we throw a mastermind is we get amazing people in our group together, but we always invite outside incredible top entrepreneurs. We had John Lee Dumas on the boat. We had a big venture capital guy. We've got a guy created who just sold a business for $65 million. We've had just amazing contacts. A guy who created emojis, I think, something like that. I mean, literally just crazy entrepreneurs that just add so much value to the experience. So I want you to check out just a little taste behind the scenes of the Life on Fire mastermind on the yacht.
Set your life on fire.